of Sweden for your statement, and I give the floor to the representative of the Russian Federation. Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I would like to, on behalf of Russia, express our condolences to the family and friends of our friend, permanent representative of Côte d'Ivoire, who left us much too early. We will greatly miss his sense of humor, his constructive attitude, his professionalism, his enthusiasm for the issues considered by the Council. He has done a great deal for his country and for the people of Côte d'Ivoire. We share your pain and your mourning. This is a major blow to the diplomatic corps credited with the UN. May his soul rest in peace. Now, to come back to the topic of our discussion, I want to welcome the Vice President of Colombia, Oscar Naranjo, and the Foreign Minister of Colombia, Maria Angela Holguín. I want to welcome them to this session. Today, we're here to discuss the situation in Colombia after the parliamentary elections that took place on the 11th of March. This was a milestone event of extreme importance, since after decades of conflict, for the first time, the party called Alternative Revolutionary Common Force, or the FARC, took part in these elections. In spite of the modest results, this political force will represent the interests of its supporters. We would like to congratulate Colombia and the Colombians on this. Thanks to the national ownership that you have demonstrated, the country has made another very important step towards sustaining peace. We're grateful to the special representative of the Secretary General, Jean Arnaud, for his presentation of the Secretary General's report. This briefing, just as the document itself, confirms that a lot of work remains to be done. There shouldn't be any illusions on this point. In spite of the fact that the situation in the country compared to the years of war has no doubt improved, certain old problems still are obstacles to consolidating a sustainable peace. And this is precisely why we wholeheartedly endorse the support that the UN presence provides to the Colombians under the leadership of Mr. Arnaud. Support of the first political mission, which completed its work in September of last year, helped Colombians secure major achievements of the peace process. After cessation, after a ceasefire, that after many, many years of conflict, and the signature at the end of 2016 of a final peace agreement, the United Nations mission certified the completion of the surrender of weapons by the FARC. Former combatants began to arrive in the reintegration zones in spite of some problems with settling them, as was reported by the head of the mission. These successes enabled the Council to start discussing the shift to the second phase, the verification mission. Now, the report of the Secretary General that has been issued 6 months after the start of its work has pointed to a number of serious problems, in particular bureaucratic impediments with which the FARC has had to deal with during the electoral campaign. Unfortunately, the number of murders of former combatants and communal leaders has increased and reached a maximum level. Against this backdrop, illegal armed groups have taken control over lands that have been liberated by the FARC, in spite of the declared Horus plan, which is meant to ensure government control in these regions. Furthermore, the report didn't cover another topic which led to a significant reaction in Colombian society, and that is the arrest on the 9th of April. One of the negotiators of the final peace agreement, member of the FARC, the political party known as Jesus Santrich. As is well known, he was supposed to take up his parliamentary seat. We noted with satisfaction Mr. Arnault's information that the key agreements of the two parties remain in force. We, together with the UN mission, will carefully monitor this process, as well as the applicability in this situation of the measures of special jurisdiction in Colombia, which is one of the key components of the final peace agreement, as well as a guarantee of peace. All these issues require careful attention by the government, the UN mission, and the international community, which I think justly is looking towards Colombia as an example of post-conflict rebuilding. Also, we should mention the way the ELN is looking at this situation, which is also very important. All this has put particularly great responsibility on the monitoring mission, which will have to mobilize its forces and focus on fulfilling its mandate within the established time frame. This is especially important as we get closer to the presidential elections. We believe that the final peace agreement must be strictly complied with in its current form by all parties, independently of what kind of changes take place in the government of the country. We, in this context, will follow very carefully the statements by the various candidates. It's important to recall that the Security Council and the UN Secretary General have put their credibility on the line in ensuring the success of the peace process. We in Russia, once again, I would like to reiterate our readiness to support the people and government of Colombia in the efforts to establish a lasting peace and post-conflict development. Thank you very much for your attention.
Le agradezco al representante.
I want to thank the representative of the Russian Federation for your